Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we'll be talking about matrix arithmetic here. Please, before you proceed to this video, make sure you've reviewed the previous video where we talked about scalar multiplication and the rest of it, and also factorizing of matrices. So make sure you understand that before coming to this section, okay? And like I always say, if you've not liked, shared, and subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the notification bell so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right, so let's get cracking now. So the first thing first you have to know is that matrices, in this kind of matrix arithmetics, what we do here is that we're combining more mathematical operations together. All right. So, for instance, I'm combining addition, subtraction, and maybe scalar multiplication in a in a particular question. So you could be asked to add, subtract, then multiply, or in one particular question, and how do you go about it? So usually, when we are solving questions like this, we follow this board maths, this bracket of, or some people call it bead maths. So we talk about the bracket, indices, or ordinals. We talk about division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. All right. So we have this combination of things in one particular questions, and you have to then follow each of them. All right, so let's get cracking now. So because I know students do take notes, I'm going to write down what I just said here so that it will be easy for you to understand what I'm referring to. So here, what I said, that we combine more mathematical operations together. So here, we combine more mathematical operations. Okay. So for instance, like we might have things like addition. Okay. We might have things like maybe subtraction, and we can now have scalar multiplication in one single question. A scalar multiplication in a single question. So for example, you can be given something like, for instance, if they said, if we can be told that if A is equal to, let's say, 3, 5, 2, 1, and we have B is equal to 4, 8, 2, 6, you can then be told to find 2A plus 3B minus A, maybe 8A, something like this. All right? Something like this. You can be told to do something like, or you can be told to find 8A minus 2B. All right. So you could be told to do something like this. And at the end of the day, you then have to then solve to get the answer. So you can see we have both scalar multiplication because you're going to multiply 2 and A. Then you can have addition and subtraction. Now, basically, what you need to know is that this arithmetic generally follows the board math. So like I said, it follows the board maths. So in the board maths here, you then need to know how to solve that. So I've talked about board maths previously, where I talked about it in basic algebra. So I will advise that you go back, have a look at it, and try to understand that. All right, so let's see. So let us go to the next one. Uh, Take this up a bit, right? So now, so good. Now, so we've talked about the board math. So I'm gonna just write this here. So because the solving of this question, like what I said here, the arithmetic of this. So we combine many mathematical operations. So the arithmetic of this, so when you're multiplying 2a plus 3b or 8a minus 2b, so when you're solving this, it generally follows what? The board math. So what you need to know is that this arithmetic broadly follows the board math. So like I said, some people call it board maths. Some textbook, when you go to some textbook, it's called bead maths, okay? And I've talked about this previously, okay? So I talked about this when I talked about basic algebra. So please, you need to go back and have a look. But one thing I want you to know is that some of the operations are not cumulative, so you have to be very careful when interpreting it. So, but some of the operations are not cumulative. And you have to be very careful when interpreting it. All right. So just to remind us, the board maths, I told you then that the B stands for the bracket, okay? And the I, so some people call it I, or in bid mass or O, if you call it a board mass. So the I stands for indices, okay? Or you can call it ordinal. So where you have things like square roots, and everything. Then the D represent division. The M represents multiplication. Okay. The A is for addition. And the S, I'll take this up a bit. And the S is going to be for what? Subtraction. Okay, so this is the bid math. So the way we do this, and that's the same way we then solve. Now, since we know this now, I'm going to write down the 4 steps in order to carry out a matrix arithmetic. So how do you go about this? So the 4 steps you need to know when you're carrying out matrix arithmetic. So the first thing you need to know is take this up a bit so I can, right? So we have 4 steps. So we'll talk about the 4 steps now. So how do you carry out the matrix arithmetic? 4 steps. So number 1, the first thing you do, you have to solve basically because of I said you follow the principle of the board math. So you have to solve any brackets or indices first if there's any in that question. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to solve any brackets or indices. Okay. First, if any. So in some questions, you might have some of them having these indices in brackets and some you will not. So it varies. Then number 2, you then have to solve this scalar multiplication separately. So in the previous video, I talked about scalar multiplication. So you talk about that separately. So you then solve the scalar multiplication separately. Okay, then you solve the scalar multiplication separately. Now, when you're done with that, the next thing you have to do is that you now follow, if there is, because we're talking about division here, so it's not really necessary, okay? But you can then go and do the addition and subtraction at the same time. So if you have a question that have addition and subtraction, you can do the addition, then you do the subtraction. But usually I usually find it easier to just do both the addition and subtraction at the same time. Then next one, you can solve addition and subtraction at the same time. So usually if they are both in the question. Okay, in the same question. Okay, then when you're done with that, number 4, as usual, then you what? You then simplify. So those are the 4 steps. So you solve any brackets or indices you have, then you now do the scalar multiplication, then you do addition and subtraction, then you simplify. All right, so let's pick some examples now. All right, let's pick some examples. So let's start with this one here. So for example, the example I have here, we're told that if A is equal to, we have it as a 2 by 2, so 3, 2, 5, 1. And we're told that B is equal to, let's say we have it as -1, 2, 5, and -2, okay? Now we're told to find the following, all right? So we're told to find number 1, we're told to find 2A plus B, okay? Number 2, we're told to find A minus 2B. Number 3, we're told to find 3 into bracket A plus B, all right? We're told to find these questions here. All right, so let's do this together, all right? So we have the first one. So let's start with the first one. We're told to find 2A plus B, all right? 2A plus B. So what do you do first? So like I always say, when you have things like this, you can break it down to solve them separately, then add them together. So for instance, I'm going to solve I'm going to put this with a red pen so that to. All right. So we have 2A plus B. So let's do it this way. I'm going to start with the first one. So I'm going to start with the A first, then I'm going to solve them with the what? With the B, okay? So let's do this way then. So let's see what we can do quickly and see how far we can go. So we have 2A plus B. So the first one you will notice here in this question is that with the 2A plus B, we have to first solve the 2A. get an answer, then we're going to add it to what? We're going to add it to B, okay? We'll solve the 2a, get an answer, then we'll add it to B. So we're going to do the 2a now. So the 2a, please, if you've not watched my previous video, so you have to go back and look at it. So it's 2 multiplied by what? What is the a here? So all this value here is the a, right? So this is the a matrix. So we're going to put it here now. So we're going to solve this. So it's going to be 2. A is what? 3, 2, 5, and 1. All right. So that means 2a now is going to give us 2 times 3 will give you 6. 2 times 2 will give you 4. 2 times 5 will give you 10. And 2 times 1 will give you what? 2. So we've gotten 2a. Are you seeing it? Now, we can easily now apply this to different methods now. But what we can do, we can just put it separately because it's the first time I'm explaining this. But the next subsequent ways I'm going to solve it, I'll just go straight to the point. So then the next one, the b, you just straight up. So you're going to just use that. It's going to give you -1, 2, 5, and -2. Are you seeing it? So now we're asked to have 2a plus b, all right? So we're asked to find 2a plus b. So what do you do then? We then have to add it together. So therefore now we can now say, all right, that 2a plus b, we already know our 2a to be what? 6, 4, 10, and 2. And we know that our b is what? -1, 2, 5, and -2. So if you remember the previous video we solved, I explained to you that if you have a matrix provided that in the same order, you can add them together. So it's going to become 6 plus -1. So if you've not watched my previous video, please go back and watch it. Then the next one will become the 4 and 2. So it's going to become 4 plus 2. Then the next one, 10 and 5. So it's going to be 10 plus 5. And the last one is going to be 2 and -2. Then we have 2 plus minus what? 2. Then we now simplify. Then we now have 6 plus 1 plus -1 is going to give us 6 minus 1, and that will give you 5. 4 plus 2 will give you 6. 10 plus 5 will give you 15. And 2 plus -2 will give you 0. So therefore, 2a plus b is going to give you this answer here. Okay, so that was that for that. So we have this. So the next one we are having now is a minus 2b. So the next question is a minus 2b. So we have a minus 2b. So this is number 2 now. Okay, a minus 2b. So let's first, what is a? So we have to solve them separately, remember? So let's check. The value of a is 3251. So a is 3251. So a is equal to 3251. Okay. So we already have a, but the question is not asking us for just a, it's asking us for a minus 2b. So we need to find 2b2. Okay, 2b, so 2, but we know the b from the question, the b was -1, 2, 5, and what? -2, right? So, but we need 2b, so it's going to become, you multiply this, so it's going to be -2, 2 times, so 2 times 2 will give you 4. You open the bracket, 2 times 5 will give you 10. And the last one, 2 times -2 will give you minus what? 4. All right? So then we can now find a minus 2b. So a minus 2b is going to give us, what is the A? A is going to give us 3, 2, 5, 1, minus, what is the 2B? 2B is going to give us minus 2, 4, 10, and minus 4. Okay? So what we now have is that we then solve this. So similarly to what we did, so it's going to become 3 minus minus 2. So it's going to become 3 minus minus 2. We're going to have 2 minus 4. We have 2 minus 4. We have 5 minus 10. 5 minus 10. And finally, we have 1 minus minus 4. So 1 minus minus 4. Okay? Then you then solve this. So it's going to become 3 minus minus 2 will give you 5, because minus times minus will give you plus. 2 minus 2 will give you what? Minus 2. Okay? 5 minus 10 is going to give you minus 5. And 1 minus minus 4. So minus times minus will give you plus. So it's going to give you 1 plus 4. And that will give you what? 5. Okay? And that should give you 5. So that means, therefore, we can now say that A minus 2B for that matrix is going to be 5 minus 2 minus 5 and 5. Okay? So that will be the answer for that. All right, so let's go to number 3 for this. So number 3, the third one, was that we have to find 3A plus B. All right, so let's go. So the number 3, we're told to find 3 into brackets A plus B. All right. So remember, like I said, I will follow the principle of BODMAS. You solve the brackets first. So we then have to solve A plus B. Then we now do the scalar multiplication. So we already know from the question that our A, get this out of the way. So we know already that the A is equal to, the A was 3, 2, 5, 1, all right, from the question. And we know that the B was equal to, I'm going to put the B here so that I can save some space, was minus 1, 2, 5, and minus 2, all right? Good. Now we know that, so we can now easily solve this. So we have to solve the brackets first, so we need to first solve A plus B, and that will give us the same thing. So it's going to be A plus B. So what we can do, I can rewrite the metrics here, so it will help for those that are writing to follow what I'm doing. So it's going to be A is going to be what? 3, 2, 5, 1 plus B. B is what? Minus 1, 2, 5, minus 2. Okay? So this is going to give us A plus B is going to be 3 plus minus 1. Okay? 2 plus 2. So we'll have 3 plus minus 1. All right? So that's going to be 2 plus 2. So it's going to be 2 plus 2. The next one we're going to have is 5 plus 5. So we have 5 plus 5. And finally, we have 1 plus minus 2. We have 1 plus minus 2. Okay? Then we then solve this. So 3 plus or minus 1. So that plus times minus will give you minus. So that will be 3 minus 1, and that will give you 2. 2 plus 2 will give you 4. 5 plus 5 will give you 10. And 1 plus or minus 2 will give you minus 1. So therefore, A plus B is equal to what? 2, 4, 10 minus 1. But the question is not asking you for A plus B, it's asking you for 3 times a plus b. So that means we're now doing a scalar multiplication. So what we are asked now is to find 3a plus b. So that means it's going to be the same thing as saying 3 into 2, 4, 10, and minus 1. Okay? So we have scalar multiplication. So like I told you, you're going to open the bracket. So it's going to become, it'll be 3 times 2. It'll be 3 times 4. Okay? You use 3 to open everything. So it'll be 3 times 10. And it's going to be 3 times what? Minus 1. So that is going to give us what? 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 10 is 30. And 3 times minus 1 is minus what? 3. And that will be the answer for that. All right, so let me just pick one more example for this. Let me just have one more, and then I might give you some to try on your own. Let me just have one more example, and let's see if we can answer that. So number 2, let's pick an example. So for instance, we're told if u is equal to, and we have it as 3, 1, 2, and 7, okay? And let's say we have v to be equal to 0, 1, 2 minus 1. And maybe we have w to be equal to 3, 1, and 4, and 5. Okay? So now let's see. So let's say we're meant to now find, let's say we have 2u plus v minus what? 3w. Okay? And maybe let's say we have the second one to be 2u minus v plus 3w. So just to show you that you can play around with the signs and just see that you have different answer for each of them. All right, so let's start with the first one. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So we have 2u. So number 1, we have 2u plus v minus 3w. Okay, so what would this give you? So what I always say, I always advise students to solve each of the components separately. Then from there, you can then add them together. All right, so let's go. So we have 2u will be equal to 2 into bracket. What is the u? We have it to be 3, 1, 2, 7. And when you open the bracket, so 2 times 3 will give you 6. 2 times 1 will give you 2. 2 times 2 will give you 4. And 2 times 7 will give you 14. Okay, so that's 2u. Now the next one is v. V is straight up. It's very easy. And we have the v to be 0, 1, 2, minus 1. Okay. And the next one was 3w. Okay, so we have 3w. So 3w will be 3 into bracket. What is w there? We have the w to be 3, 1, 4, and 5. So that means the 3w now is going to be 3 times 3 will give you 9. 3 times 1 will give you 3. 3 times 4 will give you 12. And 3 times 5 will give you what? 15. So please, it's very important that if you've not watched my video on scalar multiplication, please go back and have a look again. Good. So we have this. So now the question is asking us to have 2u plus v minus 3w. So that, therefore, we can now say 2u plus v minus 3w will be equal to 2u is we have is 6, 2, 4, and 14 plus v. What is the v? 0, 1, 2 minus 1. Okay. Minus 3w. 3w is 9, 3, 12, and 15. Okay. So we can now solve this. So remember in the steps, I told you can solve all of them at the same time to get the answer you're looking for. So now we can solve this together. So remember I said when you have the addition and subtraction, you can solve all of them at the same time. So we can now go 6 plus 0 minus 9 will give us the first one. So we have 6 plus 0 minus 9, okay? The next one, we have 2, we have 1, and 3. So it's going to be 2 plus 1 minus 3. It's going to give us 2 plus 1 minus what? 3. The next one, we have 4 plus 2 minus 12, okay? So we're going to have 4 plus 2 minus 12, okay? Then the last one, we have 14 plus minus 1 minus 15. So you're going to be 14 plus minus 1 minus 15. So if you look at this now, you will see that because it's addition and subtraction, I can do all at the same time. And so at this point now, you can just press this in your calculator if you're not very conversant with the signs. So 6 plus 0 minus 9, that will give you minus 3, okay? 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 3 will give you what? 0. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 minus 12 will give you minus 6. Now, plus times minus will give you minus, so that's going to be 14 minus 1. Okay. Minus 15, just for me to be sure. The W in this question was the W was 5. Okay, that's correct. So if you can just press this in your calculator, so you have, so it's going to be 14 plus times minus will give you minus 1. I see it. Then we have minus 15. Is that making sense? So what you can see is that we have 14 minus 1. We give you what? 13. Then we now have 13 minus 15. Are you seeing it? So 13 minus 15. So 13 minus 15 is going to give you minus what? 2. Are you seeing it? So therefore, this place is minus what? 2. So like I always say, if you're not really comfortable, you can just go to your calculator and just press it all in your calculator and you will get the answer. So this will be the answer for 2w plus v minus what? 3w. And that will be the answer for that. All right, so we'll solve the next one, which is 2u plus v plus, sorry, 2u minus v plus 3w. So we'll go to the next one for this question. And we have is 2u. Clean that first. So number 2, we have it as what? 2u minus v plus what? 3w. So the same thing, like I said, I'm going to solve 2u first. There's going to be 2, and the u, we know the u is 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 7. And that will give me what? 2 times 3 will give me 6. 2 times 1 will give me 2. 2 times 2 will give me 4. 2 times 7 will give me what? 14. All right. The next one we have, we know the V. The V, we already have the V to be, we know it to be 0, 1, 2, and minus 1. Okay. We know that to be the V. Now we can get the 3W. So we can get the 3W now. So we can do the 3W now, and what we're gonna get is gonna be 3W will be equal to 3, and we know the W for this question was 3, 1, 4, and 5. So we can now say the 3W is gonna become 3 times 3 will give you 9, 3 times 1 will give you 3, 3 times 4 will give you 12, and 3 times 5 will give you what? 15. Okay, so now we have that, so we can now easily solve for the question we have, the 2u minus v plus 3w. So we now have 2u minus v plus 3w will now become the 2u, we have it to be 6, 2, 4, 14, minus, what is the v? 0, 1, 2, minus 1. Okay. Then plus 3w, and that will give me 9, 3, 12, and 15. Okay. 9, 3, 12, 15. So like I said, we can solve all these at the same time. So this is going to give you, we take the first one. So we have, it'll be 6 minus 0 plus 9, right? So it'll be 6 minus 0 plus what? 9. Then we'll go to the next one, which is going to be 2 minus 1 plus 3. So we're going to have 2 minus 1 plus 3. Then we're going to have the next one, 4 minus 2 plus 12. So then we have 4 minus 2 plus 12. Okay. And finally, we have 14. Okay. Now we have 14 here. Now minus minus 1. So we have minus minus 1. Right? Plus 15. Is this making sense? Then we can now press this in the calculator, or you can solve it manually, depending which one you're comfortable with. So we have 6 plus 0 will give us 6. 6 plus 9 will give us 15. All right. Now we have 2 plus 2 minus 1 will give us minus 1, right? Sorry, 2 minus 1 will give us 1. Then 1 plus 3 will give us what? 4. Now 4 minus 2 will give us 2. 2 plus 12 will give us 14. Then finally, we now have minus times minus will give us plus. So we're going to be having 14 plus 1. Can you see? So because of we have it as minus times minus is going to give us plus, then plus 15. So that means you're going to be having 14 plus 1 plus 15, and that will give you what? 30. And that will be the answer for that. Okay, and that's how you do matrix arithmetics. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some exercises to try. All right, so I want you to solve it, put it in the comment section, or solve with your friends, and see if you get the same answer with your friends. And if you're having any difficulty, you can just call me and I'll get back to you on it. So you can send me an email or you can drop it in the comment section and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. So let's assume if W was 4, so we have it as 4 minus 1, okay, 5, 2, 7, and 0. Okay, so we have W to be that. Now, and also we have X to be equal to, let's say we have it to be 2, 1, 0, and 5, 1 minus 2. Okay, so we have it to be something like this. And we're now told then that we also have Y. So Y was equal to, or let me put it as capital letter. So we have Y to be equal to, we have it as 3, 1, 5, okay, minus 1, 2, 0. All right, so we have 3, 1, 5 minus 1, 2, 0. Now we're now told to find this now. So we're now told to find this. So I'm going to write it down now. So number 1, we're now told find. Number 1, we're said to find 2W minus 3X. So 2W, why is this? So 2W minus 3X plus 4Y. Okay. Number 2, let's say we have 3W minus 5X minus 6Y. Okay. Number 3, we have 5W plus 4X minus 6Y. 5W plus 4X minus 6Y. Number 4, take this up a bit. So number 4, we have 5W minus X plus 3Y minus W. And number 5, final one, we have 3 into W plus X minus Y plus 2 into bracket W minus 2X plus 3Y. Okay, and we have that question there. All right, so that will bring me to the end of this video. The next video I'm going to talk about is multiplication of 2 matrices together and how do we go about it. So it's very important that you review my previous video and try as much as possible to understand what I've talked about already. All right. Thank you very much. So when you're done with this question, put it in the comment section. I'm going to see you in the next video where we'll talk about how do we multiply two matrices together.